When even the body gets worn out and completely decayed, one can no longer eat. One can no longer drink, and what one eats is no longer digested. Whatever one eats does not become a part of oneself anymore. You must remember this point very carefully. If I drink water, that water becomes me. If I eat food, the food I eat becomes a part of me. Whatever I study becomes a part of me. But do you know what happens in old age? The physical body begins to reject all of these things. But it does not bring to mind what it learned before. Now, I am giving a speech like this. If the Lord grants me a long life, and I come and sit like this 30 years from now, there is no guarantee I can speak in such an orderly way. That recollection will not be there, that memory will be gone, it fades away. Then, if I take my keys and put them aside like this, I will keep searching, asking, where did I put the keys? Where are the keys? Where are the keys? The grandson comes and says, Grandpa, the keys are right there. And he says, I have become forgetful, dear. He thinks he locked it and just leaves. Grandpa, you did not lock it. You see how much trouble it caused. He says, I was distracted somewhere, boy. The worry that distraction will come starts to set in. That fear creeps in. So, as the body starts to decay, the soul will no longer stay in it. Suppose the body is becoming fit to be burnt away. He vacates it beforehand. That is why this life trait starts with the bird. That is why in this world, its life is close to human life. That is why a bird builds a nest, clinging to it, and if the nest is ruined, it just flies away, it does all these things. Look at us. If a house becomes dilapidated, we do not live there anymore. We leave and go away. Similarly, Arjuna, even if this body decays, even if this body does not decay, if it is no longer fit to live in, do you know when it becomes unfit to live in? The whole house is there, it is fine. But in a storm, just the roof is blown away. Would you stay then? You would not. You would leave the house. The whole house is there. A cobra has entered the roof of the tiled house. Would you sleep in that house? Nanaya says in the Mahabharata, how can one stay in a house where a snake is lurking? You will not live in that house anymore. You do not know where the snake might strike from once you fall asleep. If a condition enters this body that can shut down its most vital systems, or if the nest is suddenly shattered by some cause. Look, he is leaving. A terrible accident has happened. The body is shattered. A vital organ is damaged. If the heart is damaged, the soul will no longer stay. He will leave. If the brain is damaged, he will leave. If both kidneys are crushed, he will leave. If vital organs are crushed, the soul will not stay because it decides it cannot do anything more here. It comes out. The departure, he leaves. So you agree with that departure, you understand that much. But do you know why you are afraid? You were not afraid when you went from childhood to youth. You were happy. You went from youth to old age. You were not afraid. You said, I am here. Then do you know why you are so afraid of that? Oh my God, this will not last. This might not stay. But Arjuna, the body remains and you will just move into another one. As soon as you leave this one, you are given another body and you enter into it. It's always the attainment of another body. Since you do not know that, even if you experience it, you do not remember. Because you do not remember even if you experience it. Otherwise, I left my body in the previous life and I came into this one. If I did not leave some body or other, how did I get into this one? Sir, tell me. Since I came into this, it means I left one and came here. But then why do I not remember what I left? Suppose I did remember it now. What is the big deal in this, sir? When childhood changes to youth, am I not there? When youth changes to old age, am I not in it? When I leave this, I will go again. In the past, I left that once and came into this, right? Now it is the same. I say I will leave this and go into another one. I just do not remember that at all. It is not in your awareness. You do not remember why you changed like that, Arjuna. It is the attainment of another body, but you will get a body. Therefore, the wise ones, those who are scholars, those who have understood Vedanta, and those who have brought Vedanta into their own experience, they are not deluded by it. And they do not feel any fear. At all. Was I afraid when I was a child? Or was I afraid in my youth? Or was I afraid in my old age? I said, I am here, right? So I will be there. Even if I leave this, I will be in another body. So what is there for me to fear? So this will fall, I have no fear. If it falls, let it fall, man. If this falls on its own like a ripe fruit, I will go from this into another. I will go into another body. Just like I went from childhood to youth, and from youth to old age. So why cry anymore? What are you suffering for? What are you crying for? Bodies will fall, bodies will fall. Why do you keep saying, I will kill, I will kill? Do you think it ends if you kill? Do you think it ends if you kill? He will just move into another body, that is all. Do you think he will stay if you do not kill? He will leave after the body becomes worn out. So what is your role in this? Your duty is yours. Your dharma is yours. Do you know what you must do? To uphold dharma. You must now slay these bodies. You are merely an instrument. The one who kills is God. He is right there. The one who runs all this is the one doing everything. Without knowing this, you are becoming weak and getting deluded, my friend. There is a great secret in this. Look, when I moved from childhood to youth, I knew that it had changed. That I had transitioned from childhood to youth. When I moved from youth to old age, I knew that this body had attained old age. Then why did God make us forget the fact that we have come into this body from a previous one? In the past, I was in another body, that body fell there, and after that, I came into this one. Why did God make me forget that? If I remembered that too, there would be no worry, would not there? Why did He make it that way? You will hear that secret tomorrow. Since the hour is up, I will explain that matter tomorrow.
Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnapashantaye. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. To Vyasa, form of Vishnu, and Vishnu, who is Vyasa, I bow to Vasishta's heir, the treasure of the Vedas. I salute Valmiki, the cuckoo of poetry, who sits on the branch of verse and sings the sweet syllables of Rama, Rama. I bow to Shankara, world teacher and home of mercy, source of the Vedas, Smritis and Puranas. I salute Parvati and Parameshwara, parents of all, joined like word and meaning for true understanding. May Lakshmi herself perfect this verse through the sweet glances of the queen of the king of Srirangam. Poets drink in these verses, rich in skill and quality, satisfying their eager ears. With a golden mark on his forehead, a crown, a beautiful nose, a gentle smile, earrings, lovely cheeks, and a red lip, his long glances are full of mercy. May the face of Sri Venkateswara remain present in my soul. O Kamakshi, with pure clothes, a lotus home, holding a book and beads with beautiful eyes, and a lute in your hands, Brahma's wife, you shine.
Swift as thought, quick as the wind, master of senses, wisest of the wise, son of the wind, leader of the Vanara army, messenger of Sri Rama, I bow my head to you.
The remover of all troubles, the giver of all wealth, the delight of the world, Sri Rama, I bow to you again and again. Harihi Om. Greetings to this gathering, the embodiment of the Supreme Lord. I have mentioned this to you before. Lord Krishna is speaking with Arjuna, who has been overcome by a deep delusion. It is a dialogue between teacher and disciple. Thus, it is an Upanishad. Does everything a teacher and disciple talk about become an Upanishad? Well, it is about the confusion Arjuna felt regarding dharma, because these are the words spoken by Lord Krishna, who sat in the position of a guru to correct that. It attained the form of an Upanishad. Yesterday I mentioned to you that the root cause of Arjuna's delusion, whatever that root cause may be, must be eliminated. Since he just said he would not fight, Krishna's job is not merely to tell him why he should fight. The reason for saying I will not fight is that those in front of me are my people, and if they die, some trouble will come. Now, in the phrase my people, the fact that there are those who are not mine is also inherent. When I say I like this, remember that in this world it also implies I do not like that. It does not mean I like everything. Rather, it is specific. Whenever I say I like this, it is a sign that there is something else besides me.
a second object also exists in the world. Therefore, it is a sign that I am attached to it, that I have developed an affection for it. So, where the root needs to be corrected is here. Arjuna, there are no two things, there is only one substance. How does that one substance appear as so many? When it appears as many, then anything can arise from it. I am killing this. That is hurting me. I have developed a liking for this and a dislike for that. The reason all these things arise is they are born from the feeling that there are two separate things. So now, whatever Shankara proposes as Advaita, he has to correct the root in that way. Whatever the root of the disease is, he says, medicine must be given to the root. So, what is death and what is birth? What actually dies? What is it that never dies? What is true? What is a lie? That is why he started the explanation from the root of truth itself. I mentioned this to you yesterday. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tadha dehantara praptihi dhira tatra anumuhyati dhira. Everyone else is someone who gets deluded in that matter. They are the ones who worry, saying, oh my God, I am going to die, oh my God, I am going to die. Only a courageous person, the word "di" is a symbol for the intellect. A person with great intellect, meaning someone who has gained the right knowledge about the soul, the Atma Vastu, someone who well recognizes the authority of the scriptures, the Shastras, someone who has digested the teachings given by the elders, he alone does not get deluded. He is not deluded by this, which means just as the soul attains another body, he is not deluded by the fact that I will leave this body and attain another one. Regarding everything else, he just settles with the fact that I exist. The body was there in childhood. He sees it. He was in childhood. This body is in youth now, so he sees that childhood is gone. Youth is gone, old age has come, he sees it. But in all these three, the I exists. I am inside and being there. I know this is in childhood, I knew this was in youth, and I know this is in old age. Still, there is no great fear because, so what if it is old age? I just cannot eat hard snacks or savory rings if my teeth fall out. But I still exist, right? So there is courage. Do you know why there is a fear of death? Because this will not be there. If this goes, I am gone. But the me inside that realizes this is changing, that is the ultimate truth. When it leaves this one, it just puts on another. It enters into another body. It leaves this body and takes on that body. Experience tells us that the body undergoes change. Regarding that truth, it is fine. Childhood is gone, youth came, youth is gone, old age came, he accepts it. But he does not believe that this body will go and another body will come. Why does he not believe it? Because he does not remember. This is something to be understood well. This is where Vedanta enters experience. Do you remember? Before leaving this body, do you remember which body you left behind? I am in this body today. Suppose I remain in this body for some more time, but before entering this body, I must have left some other body behind. Suppose I also know which body I left to enter this one. Why fear? I will tell you. Before I was born in the year 1959, I left a certain body at a certain place. I will say that I left that body there and entered this one. Just as I left that body and entered this one, if I leave this body, I will enter another one. So what is the big deal? Then life will go on. No problem. But the real trouble arises because a brave man remains courageous. Why others feel afraid at the very mention of death is because they do not remember that they left a previous body to enter this one. That is not in our experience. Suppose that was also in our experience, then everyone would be so brave. thinking it does not matter if this body falls, another body will come. Why did God make it so that we do not remember that? You listen carefully. The essence of all Vedanta is right there. The whole point of that verse is right there. It was known in childhood, then it came into youth, and it was known that childhood was gone. Youth left and old age came. And it was known that childhood and youth were gone. So why is it not remembered that the body was left behind in the past? That was also a state you attained. You left the body once. So why did God make it? So that you do not remember it? Well, there is a very big and interesting thing in the scriptures. Death is not something that comes one day. Death comes the moment you are born. Whenever the process of stopping happens, at those times, one is being swallowed by death. If I have to give you an example so that you understand it well, a caterpillar builds a cocoon and sleeps. Now, a caterpillar that is sleeping in its cocoon suddenly tears through it and flies away as a butterfly. If you were to ask me when that caterpillar turned into a butterfly, when it left this body and when it gained that new body, it did not just happen suddenly in a single moment. From the moment it lay down until it became a butterfly, it was changing during every single moment. If you ask when a flower became a fruit, well, the flower did not just suddenly become a fruit. The flower gradually turned into a bud, and once it became a bud, it was no longer a flower. After the bud turned into a fruit, it was no longer a bud. Once the fruit ripened, it was no longer raw. After the fruit falls to the ground and merges with the earth, it is no longer a fruit. Similarly, the moment this body was born, its death had already begun. Do you know how it all started? Death has already begun for the body in the form of change. It is not something that comes later. Every single moment we are being consumed by death. Like a lizard catching a fly. The fly is still alive. It keeps struggling. The lizard slowly opens its mouth and pulls it inside. Once it is finally in the mouth, after it is swallowed and the venom spreads, the soul completely leaves the body. Similarly, death arrives the moment we are born. As it changes and passes through each stage of life, it keeps moving closer and closer to death. Finally, the soul leaves this body and enters into another body. There is a wonderful description in the Bhagavatam regarding this concept of attaining another body. They describe how one leaves the body and enters another. Well, before I mention that, I must tell you one thing. This body has seen childhood, it has seen youth, and it has seen old age. But why does the soul not remember that it has left the body in the past? Why did God make it so that we do not have that memory? If we remembered that, our fear would vanish, would not it? So then, what is the problem? You see, you must remember one thing very clearly. All attachments belong to the soul, not to the body. As long as the entity called I is inside this, my daughter says that her father is here. As long as the consciousness called I is inside this, my son says his brother is here. As long as the consciousness called I is inside this, you all say that Koteswara Rao is here. Once that consciousness leaves the body, if that soul goes out from within this, then even if this body is right here, you say that Koteswara Rao is gone. That is because the soul has left from within it. All attachments belong to whom? To the soul. So, if the soul remembers which body it left, then all those attachments will also be remembered by it. If I remember that I left my body in a certain place, then who was my wife when I was in that body? Who were my children? Who were my loved ones? Who were my enemies? All of that would also be remembered. Now, if you remember all of that too, how would you even ask for liberation in this life? Your attachments and aversions would only increase. In fact, the new attachments and aversions you develop in this life are the very obstacles to your growth, your progress, and reaching God. That is why I told you, the moment the two words, you and I appeared, duality was born. When duality appeared, ignorance and lack of knowledge followed. Now imagine if so much more gets added between the two. In Gajendra Moksha, he says, despite being the lord of 10 lakh crore elephants, I could not stay in the cool shade of the sandalwood trees. Everything Pothana wrote in Gajendra Moksha is pure Vedanta. He said, I have 10 lakh crore wives. I mean, if he really had 10 lakh crore wives, there is no objection to that. The actual truth is that this inner soul has been in many bodies before. When it was in all those bodies, it had so many wives. And with all those wives, it fathered so many children. The great favor God did was that when coming out of the mother's womb, He removes the memories of the past life. A wind called Shata takes hold. The Bhagavatam talks about it. As soon as that Shata wind takes hold, he forgets everything. Until then, he remembers. Until then, he prays to God to push him out. Oh, I was a husband to some, a wife to others, a child to someone else, and I did everything for those who trusted me. In the end, I am left with nothing. Oh God, I could not reach you. Give me a body one more time. Then, while I have this body, I will use it to serve you. Since I am in this body, I will keep my mind pure and have good thoughts. I will do favors. I will do good deeds. So God, give me a body one more time, he says. Suppose the Supreme Lord allowed us to keep all the memories of our past lives when he sent us down here. Then that soul would not be able to find peace for even a single moment. The moment he is born, he would remember exactly where his wife from his past life is. And he would just want to go to her. He would think, my sons are there. I need to check on them. He might have been a dog, but he would still be obsessed with the puppies he sired. He might have been a pig, and he would still crave those offspring. The more past lives you remember, the bigger the family burden you carry inside. Is it not because you fell into this worldly trap that you were ruined? In spirituality, family is not something outside. It is something within. In the mundane world, we say family is outside. But in Vedanta, family is within. That is why wearing saffron means letting go of everything. There should be no attachment to anyone, which is why the scripture says, Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyaganaike amrutatva manasuhu parananakam nihitam guhayam vibrajate tadyatayo vishanti, says the Upanishad. He says to recite this mantra when you see those in saffron. Because for them, only through renunciation is immortality attained. Now he has no son, no daughter, no wife, no husband, no child, no relative, no friend, no one at all. Ultimately, even this body is not. He has left everything behind. Saffron is only for the one who has renounced everything. If you leave it all, having severed ties with everything, I remain only as the I within, with no connection to anyone else. Now, I will no longer be called brother, I will not be called husband, and I will not be called father. Even if I was a father to those who'd call me that in my previous life, I will not accept it now. The day I wear this, it is a second birth for me. Since I am like a newborn, I have left everything behind. If you ask where I have placed my intellect after leaving everything, I have placed it in the ultimate truth. I have fixed my mind on the truth. And that is why I say I have renounced. That is why, when such a great change occurs in Sanatana Dharma, he wears saffron because he left this to hold on to that. If he wears it without that change, it becomes very sinful. So, this thing called family life is actually inside you. It is not really on the outside. Even if I am sitting here, if I am constantly worrying, oh my wife, oh my wife, oh my wife, then family life is right here with me. Even if I am at home, these are all just attachments. How many wives I had in the past, or having one now, reaching a state where I am not deluded, is not something to just talk about. If you think that just because I said these words, I have attained that state, you are very wrong, and I am telling you this myself. I have not attained that state yet. I am just a seeker who is trying his best to attain that state. That is why I still experience emotions. In my daily life, I still get emotional and I continue to observe it. One day, this practice will bear fruit. On that day, I will have reached the level I need to achieve in my spiritual journey. That is why Vedanta is about grasping the mind. It is not something to be learned just as a literal meaning or summary. So, this family life is something that is inside you. You were ruined by it in your past lives. And giving you a family again now is just giving you all those memories from the past. Suppose God made you remember the body you just left behind. The very next moment, as God gives you birth, He plunges you back into the mire of worldly life. How will you ever find salvation then? You are unable to free yourself even from the new attachments you are creating now. If you also remembered the attachments from your past lives, would you ever rise up as a soul? Even if you are a millionaire in this life with an only daughter, what if you had left behind 16 daughters in past lives and 8 of them were still unmarried? You would be thinking more about the marriages of those 8 children left there than the child born here. Has your worldly burden increased or decreased? How will you rise up? You just cannot. Why does God give us a body, specifically a human body? He gives it for our spiritual upliftment. He gives it so you can use it as a raft to rise up. For the one who must use it as a raft to rise, He does a favor and grants a certain wisdom. Do you know what that is? I will make sure you do not remember the attachments of your past life. So, a soul must not remember the body it has left behind. That is why he remembers as long as he is in the womb. Do you know why he remembers? Because it is hell. He suffers while experiencing that hell. It is because of this that I am being born again. No matter what creature it is, the womb is hell. In that pitch darkness, you cannot see anything even if you poke your eye. That is why they say there are only 2 holes. The body has 11 holes. If one hole opens up, he will not come back. If one hole closes, he comes back into the world. As long as the umbilical hole is open in the mother's womb, what the mother eats keeps going into his body. After coming out, once the navel is cut, the umbilical hole gets closed. Nothing else goes into the body through the navel anymore. If the navel remains closed, they say the umbilical cord has fallen off. Suppose the umbilical hole is closed. If nothing else goes through it, it is a sign that the process of obtaining the body is complete. When leaving again, the sign that a person who has done great spiritual practice will not return to this body is that it is the final body. At the final moment, at the time when the life force is departing, fearlessly, I have left and gained bodies so many times in the past. I do not want to gain a body anymore. Saying this, he meditates on the Supreme Lord and fixes his mind on Him. Because he has fixed his mind like that, even as this body falls away, he stands as a witness. Only for the one who stands as a witness like that, there is a specific gateway to exit. The sign that he left through yoga is that he moves upward, pierces the crown of the head and goes up. It cracks right here. If it cracks here and he leaves, it is a sign he left through yoga. The Bhagavad Gita, especially the Samkhya Yoga, he speaks only of the great glory of yoga. Yoga merges with dharma. Well, I will try to explain that where it is necessary. If you leave dharma, it is not yoga. Devotion to dharma itself is what yoga is. Do not say it is not true. That is why he says yoga is skill in action. Therefore, now, if the impressions or memories of past lives remain, then that soul will not attain liberation at all. I just cannot seem to break these bonds formed in this lifetime. That is not why Durjati was beating his chest, tying the knot around her neck, creating a lineage and establishing relationships by giving and taking children. Oh my God, what deep philosophy this great man shared. He said, tying the knot around her neck. I thought I tied the wedding thread around her neck, but it caught me here. It is not just the wife, whether it is husband to a wife or wife to husband, family life grips you that tightly. Now, by creating a lineage through that, by having some children through that wife, and establishing relationships by giving and taking those children, he took a girl born in this house and gave her to another, and brought a girl born in another house to his own. When you turn 60 and look back at what you have done, I had a son and brought in a daughter-in-law, I had a daughter and sent her to another house. Because of that, a son-in-law came, and because of this, a daughter-in-law came. This is what you have achieved. In addition to this, some more attachments were formed. But what have I done in my practice with this body? Nothing. Zero. These attachments will eventually ruin everything again. So, tada dehantara prapti. This is the nature of the soul. It will acquire a body again. But you do not remember it. You have no experience of it. Because it is not in your experience. The big fear that has come up is that even by taking the scriptures as authority, you do not even have the courage to say, hey, even if I leave this body, I will get another one. Actually, it is not about the courage to get another body. You should not even have that desire. Having that desire is the first mistake. All right, I will not go that far. It is not possible. But would you say it is enough if I at least get a human birth again and have the benefit of studying the scriptures? Thinking that you will not get a body again and being deluded is a big mistake. Just as the soul, Arjuna, just as the soul gets another body, the wise are not deluded by it, Arjuna. What are you doing? Why are you beating your chest crying that they will all die, they will all die? Their death just means the body falls away and they will come back again in another body. Why are you so worried? Do you think it will not fall if you do not strike it down? It will fall. Do you think what fell will not come back? It will. You know what the irony is? A question arises here in Vedanta. Why does God keep giving these bodies anyway? He could just settle this whole mess once and for all, right? Instead of giving a body again, he could say, I gave you a body once and you did not use it right. Let him be impaled or chopped with axes or whatever, let it be over. The misery would be gone right there. Or if he merged them into himself, let him do that. Just these two options. Giving a body again, telling us to do it again. Us falling down and getting up. And him bringing us back to give a body again because we fell or rose. What is all this chaos? Why does the Lord give us this body? I mean, you have to remember each and every point. If we do not speak by taking the scriptures as our standard, and if we do not have proper devotion to the scriptures, or if we do not study the scriptures under a guru who has the right kind of competence, and if we remain stuck like a big frog caught in the mouth of a mud snake, do you know what kind of big trouble will come? Maturity in scriptural knowledge will not develop. If it does not develop, it is called incoherent babbling. Such shallow philosophical questions will arise. Why did God give us this body? The very first thing that needs to be said is that God did not give you the body. Your theory that God gave you the body is itself flawed. God does not have the independence in that matter, and God does not give it. He did not take that upon himself. He does not promise anywhere that I will give you this body. Not just the Bhagavad Gita. You can look at all the literature in Sanatana Dharma. God never says this. Do you know why I am emphasizing this point so much? Only in Sanatana Dharma do we find the concept of reincarnation. No other faith accepts the theory of rebirth. Only those who believe in reincarnation wear a bindi. If someone does not wear one, we do not need to get all worked up about it. Not wearing a bindi simply means that they do not accept the theory of rebirth. Accepting the concept of reincarnation is a very fundamental aspect of Sanatana Dharma. I will come back. How will I come back? It is wrong to say God gives what he wants. God does not give it. Then how do I come back? I come back because of what I do. This is actually quite fascinating. You know why? Because what God does is, when it comes to human beings, he gives us intellect and lets us be. Every human being possesses intellect. Other creatures do not have this. That is why they only experience the exhaustion of their karma. They do not have intellect or the ability to use intellect. Nothing like that at all. Only humans have intellect. That is why in Sanatana Dharma, it is not about what you did, but what final result you asked for that really matters. No matter which way you turn, in the end, you only ask for one thing. Diyo yo na prachodayat. May your intellects be inspired. Suppose you offer a prayer to Mother Durgamma. Tanno Durgi prachodayat. Oh Mother, inspire our intellects. If you worship Lord Shiva, Tanno Rudra prachodayat. Oh Rudra, inspire our intellects. If you worship Vishnu, Tanno Vishnu prachodayat. Oh Vishnu, inspire our intellects. If we pray to the fire, may Agni inspire our intellect. They ask to inspire your intellect. Do you know why? People say his intellect has gone to the dogs. Intellect makes the decision. The mind is a bundle of thoughts and doubts. I told you yesterday. Is the physical body stronger or is the subtle body stronger? Compared to the power of the subtle body, the physical body's strength is not even worth a strand of hair. That is how powerful the subtle body is. That is why great souls like Chandrasekhara Saraswati Swami, known as the walking God, used to say that claiming to catch the wind is a daring feat. Saying you can catch the mind is just as daring. Attempting that very feat is what we call practice. Can you catch the wind? Can you really catch the mind? I can catch the mind, but how? Only through constant practice. That is why he uses those very words in Bhakti Yoga. He says, Mayeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Put your mind in me and put your intellect in me. If that is not possible, he says, Abhyasa yogena kaunteya. Do practice. Practice begins with the body. Well, that is a matter of Bhakti Yoga, so I will not coordinate that right now. What we do is, if God gave us intellect and sent us here with this intellect, God says, you make the decision. Now, do you know where this intellect, which can make these decisions, gets sharpened the most, my friends? By studying the scriptures, by sitting with a guru and listening to the scriptures very well. Tasmat shastram pramanante. What anyone else says is not the standard, no matter who says what in this world. If they speak the scriptures, it is the standard. Why is it that every word spoken by Paramacharya Swami is considered an absolute truth? Whenever he spoke, he only spoke the Vedas, that is all. He only spoke the Shastras. He never spoke anything that was not in the Shastras at all. You will understand how boldly and how courageously he spoke if you read the words spoken by Paramacharya for yourself. Oh, you will feel, why did he become a walking God? See, there is a guru who speaks with that courage, one who has faith in the Shastras. When that guru speaks, his words become sharp, you see. Do you know the quality behind the phrase becoming sharp? It is quite unique, is not it? The words of a guru are also just like tamarind. Our mind is like a vessel that has gathered tarnish. If you think of scrubbing a tarnished vessel with tamarind, it should shine brightly, should not it? Now you have brought the tamarind. Sir, is the tamarind good? It is good. Does the tarnished vessel have tarnish? It does have it. Now, the stench that is on this has to go. You can scrub this vessel with this tamarind, or you can put it in the stew. Any objections? I put it in the stew without scrubbing the vessel. Any objection? No objection. The vessel has grime. Now I brought this tamarind and scrubbed it. After scrubbing it, the vessel is shining. Now, can I put what I used for scrubbing into the stew? No way. Likewise, by listening to the Guru's words, whatever rituals you perform for purification, you must eventually leave those rituals behind at a certain stage for the sake of attaining knowledge. That is where the renunciation of action comes in. Until then, it will not happen at all. You will not know it. Until that knowledge sprouts, why he renounces the fruits of action and reaches a state where he can stand as a witness is hard to understand. It is not even that easy to explain. It is very difficult to talk about that level. That is why God has given us an intellect. The more you sharpen it, the better it will cut. Now, do you know what sharpening this intellect depends on? It gradually gets rusted because it is exposed to things it should not be. What exactly affects the intellect? Well, the mind's outbursts affect it a lot. Do you know the nature of this mind? It always craves pleasure. Vedanta is like that, you know. It is not like when I narrate the Bhagavatam or the Ramayanam. Vedanta is like that. The Bhagavad Gita is about taste. The one who is always asking is the mind alone, not the intellect. You really need to remember that. That is why it is a bundle of desires and doubts. Suppose you put this bottle here. It wonders how these would be and asks what you think about pouring some in your mouth. Because it is a bundle of desires and doubts. It is always thinking about something. That is why as long as it is there is only sorrow. Do you know why there is sorrow if that exists? It either creates a resolve or a doubt. You might ask me, is not there both sorrow and happiness in both? Happiness is just an illusion of sorrow. It brings sorrow immediately. Do you know why? If I have something I really love with me, I feel happy. Now, if something is spinning, I feel very happy. This is spinning, I am happy. But if it stops, what happens? Sorrow arrives. Just like that. Sorrow is hidden in happiness, and happiness is hidden in sorrow. If it starts spinning again, there is a Sanskrit saying, Nirvanaya tarukaya taptasya visheshata. If someone comes from the sun and goes under a tree, they say, oh, how peaceful it is. If someone eats after being hungry, they say, oh, how peaceful it is. After my speech is over, you will say, oh, thank God, what a relief, right? So, happiness follows sorrow, and sorrow follows happiness. Both are just traits of the mind. This is a collection of resolves and doubts. Do you know where all this impossible power comes from? It depends entirely on the breath. Its whole power is the breath itself. The funny thing is, if you ask to see your retina, and I sit in front of a machine, the doctor can show me the retina that is deep inside the eye. The doctor can show it on a screen and say, here is your retina. If I ask to see my heart, and I sit near a special scanner, they will say, here is your heart, Koteswara. Once my voice got ruined. My throat was damaged because I went somewhere and ate something I should not have. How was I to know they would use such oil for the rice? They cooked and served me rice with oil they should not have used. Because they cook like that, I lost my voice. When I lost my voice, I went to a doctor. He made me sit in front of a machine and said, take a look at your throat. And right there in front of me, I could see my own throat. On that piece of red flesh, there were layers, just like the thick layers of cream that form on top of milk or yogurt. This is what you are seeing. Do you know how far this layer has spread? It has spread from here to here. Do you know what this layer is? They served you rice made with oil. You should not eat the cheapest possible oil for a whole week when you went for your lectures. What happened to that oil is, it came here and solidified quickly. It solidified and is not letting the air turn into speech. It is blocking it from changing. Now all of this must go. I am giving you some medicines to clear this up. If you take those, all this blockage will melt away. Once it melts, you will get your voice back, he said. Did I see my own throat or not? Including my voice box. I saw it all for myself that day. If I ask any doctor to show me my mind, will they actually be able to show it to me? No one can show it. Do you know why? The mind is not something you can see, but it is what keeps on leading you. The characteristic it has is that it is a collection of thoughts and doubts. It constantly brings up some proposal. It says, stay empty. No, do not make noise, make a scene, sit down. If you say, do not say anything, just stay like that. It says, okay. And then immediately you told me to stay like that, right? See? Someone else used to say the same thing before and start something again. Actually, keeping your mind calm is just not possible at all. You must remember that this is not possible. Do you know since when it got used to having this kind of freedom? This freedom is not from now. You have trained it to wander as it likes for millions of lifetimes. Back then, someone's son said he fell in love with a girl. What should a sensible father say? That it is wrong, son. We should decide. What is this about you falling in love? You should not do that. Instead, he said, hey, it would be good to have a motorcycle to roam around with the girl you love, and bought him one. After buying it, he loved that girl and married her. And now the father is crying for other reasons. What is the use? Who told you to buy that motorcycle? You gave him freedom and independence, and now you are suffering. Just like that, we have given freedom to the mind. To keep it under control means the intellect has lost the power it had to keep it in check. It has become completely independent. And its job such that it is not used to waiting for the intellect's command before acting. I keep telling it. And sometimes I even try to bend the intellect to my will. But what it does is, it just keeps on talking. The intellect says, no, that is wrong, you should not do that. But then it says, let them say that. It is fine. Look over there. Did they not do it? Did these people not do it? What is wrong with it? You know, there are many people in this world who do things even though they know it is wrong. Just the other day, I met a lady on a train while I was coming from Nellore. She told me that in all the Shiva temples she visits, whenever the priests step aside for a moment, she goes inside and hugs the Shiva lingam. I asked her why she does that. Then she said to me, I just cannot help myself from doing it. When she said she could not stop, I asked, do you not know that you should not do that? She replied, I know that I should not do it. She said, that is why when I go to Ramanashram, everyone asks me how many Shiva lingams I have ruined. I mean, a woman going into a Shiva temple and hugging the Shiva lingam like that is against dharma. It should not be done. And the scriptures do not allow it. She knows that the scriptures are the authority, not our own minds. And that it is the scriptures that must give the command, not me. Go hug the Sri Sailam lingam. Because that is the very lingam that allows for that sacred dust vision. So why go and embrace all the other lingams that do not allow it? I mean, she said, I will stay there until the priest steps aside for some reason, and as soon as he leaves, I will go inside and embrace it. She is not some useless person. She is a great devotee. In fact, I suspect they might even give her a PhD after some time, because she has been doing such great work lately. But why is she doing that? It means she is unable to overcome the weakness of her mind. Even though she knows she should not touch the Shivalingam like that, her mind keeps telling her, touch it, touch it, touch it. Her intellect keeps saying, do not touch it, do not touch it. But it does not let the intellect decide. The mind weakens it and becomes stronger. And do you know what kind of defense it gets in this process? It depends on life itself. Your life depends on your breath. And breath lasts as long as your lifespan does. How long does that lifespan last? It lasts until God's decree is fulfilled. And how long does God decree it should be? He makes it last until your prarabdha is over. God's decree says you have to do these many things. Once those are done, age does not matter. God just takes you away. He says, it is over. Come back now. So, you just have to do it within the lifespan He gave you. You have to keep experiencing your prarabdha karmas. Now, what this mind does is, since it depends on the breath, it stays there until the very last breath. You must remember this very well. What it does is, as long as you can breathe well, its job is to keep asking for taste. By taste, I mean in Sanskrit and in Vedanta, taste does not mean the taste you get from your tongue. It asks for experience. You will ask, how is that? Okay, suppose he experienced it. Then you have to support that statement of him experiencing it with scriptural evidence. When I say he experienced it, what I mean is like he wanted to eat tamarind rice and he ate it. You have to realize that I am not using any words more derogatory than that. Whatever falls into that category, I am not using it like that. He ate the tamarind rice. Do you know what that taste does? I mean, the tongue is like this as soon as you say tamarind rice. It records the smell. This is the powerful strength of the mind. That is why some parts of the mind are always asleep. Psychologists say that the whole mind is not awake. Actually, there is no psychologist greater than Shankaracharya. What it does is it keeps recording. That is why, look, If I say mango, how it is, or if I say Kotapalli kobbari, how it is, its skin, the fruit, it is yellow. If you touch it like this, it makes a hole. Its juice is sweet. It tells you everything. It remembers the taste and smell and says, what if another month passes? If needed, we will even use our Provident Fund, but we must get those Kotapalli mangoes, she says, the Kotapalli coconut variety. Taste and smell. Taste and smell. What this mind does is, it keeps holding on to them strongly. It keeps revolving in this all the time. And what this revolving does is, it gets stronger in certain things. You know how they say it has settled well? For those with sugar, in the beginning they ask if you have settled diabetes. It comes today and goes tomorrow if you walk 4 rounds. But after some time passes, what happens is, even if you walk 2 rounds or 3 rounds, if you eat that same food, the reading will keep showing up. That means they say the diabetes has settled. It means the pancreas has stopped secreting insulin. That is how the mind settles. It develops a strong obsession with one thing and keeps revolving around it. The same taste and smell, taste and smell, taste and smell. Do you know how quickly and frequently it asks for this? Actually, at one point, even if it is not before his eyes or on his tongue, he cannot stay quiet. It becomes like that. Do not think that I have done some kind of a hateful experiment. Just look at some people. Even more than drinking coffee or drinking tea, those two are actually very harmful. Even more than those two, when it comes to consuming alcohol, they act as if they simply cannot live without it. This taste has become so deeply ingrained in them. It is so ingrained that even if the doctor says, you will die if you drink this, they say it is okay if I die. I will drink a little. That is how strong the craving takes hold. Now, they are turning this into an obsession. And the funny thing about it is that it is like this. It stays as long as there is the last breath. You know, it knows the last breath is stopping. As soon as it realizes the last breath is stopping, the mind withdraws all the powers that are present in the 5 sensory organs. Only the mind has that power. It knows the process of withdrawal. That is why what sleep does is, it withdraws the powers within the sensory organs and takes them into itself. The eye might be slightly open, but if you put a flower right in front of him, he will not see anything. The mind pulls the power to see from the eye into itself. If you talk right next to his ear, he will not hear it. The ear hears it, because if a sound vibration comes, the eardrum inside it moves. If the eardrum moves, the ear hears that word. So the ear heard it, but the mind does not take that word because it pulls the power to hear and keeps it within itself. If you touch the skin like this, he will not know. It pulls the tactile power and keeps it inside. After keeping it, what it does for a while is, keeping these 5 within itself, it plays a little trick for a while. That is why Vedanta compares creation to the dream state. The dream state is a symbol of creation. What it does is, it shows whatever it likes. It has kept the power of this eye within itself. Has not it? Now, keeping that power within, it shows you the city of Kashi that you have been wanting to see for so long. Do you know what the strange thing is? It shows what it has not seen. It even shows what it has not seen through imagination. Do you know how funny it shows it sometimes? Suppose, after I finish my lectures here, I have to go to another town for more lectures. Before I go to sleep at night, after I reach there, will they give 1 room for both me and Gopalakrishna Garu? Or will they give 2 rooms for me and Gopalakrishna Garu? If they give just 1 room, Gopalakrishna Garu will be very uncomfortable. He will not sleep on the same bed I sleep on. If I sit, he will not sit in a chair level with me. If I am eating something, he will not eat. He will not eat unless I eat. Poor man, he will be very uncomfortable. If there is another room, he will not have any trouble. He can sleep for a while if he wants to. I forgot to ask if they are giving 2 rooms or 1 room. If I think like that, it shows me the lodging they are going to give me through its imagination, as if I have already gone there. Like being given a room, and that room having just 1 fan, and it making a loud noise while it is spinning, and there being just a single cot under that fan, and Gopalakrishna Garu sleeping on the floor, and cockroaches on the walls. And mosquitoes, oh no, how can he sleep like this? Poor man, what is this? I thought of asking them, but everyone had left after the lecture. And I am worrying that I forgot to ask. And in this worry, I woke up with a start, thinking, what a mess, even in my sleep. Is it still just these lodgings and lectures? And then I drank 2 gulps of water and went back to sleep, let us say. Does it just stop there? Do you know where all this comes from? Before you go to sleep, it withdraws the power from your eyes and shows you whatever it wants to show you. It shows you Kashi. It shows someone coming at you with a knife. That is why some people wake up with a start in their sleep. They get scared in their sleep. And do you know what it does after that? It gets tired. First, the sensory organs get tired. They drain the energy. Then, after showing dream after dream, it also gets tired. Tired and unable to make any more decisions or choices. What it does is it takes those sensory powers and the mind goes into the soul. It just goes away and stays quiet. Now, if the sensory powers and the mind also merge into the soul, once the mind is gone, all forms of ego just vanish. Who am I? I am a man. What is my name? It is Koteswara Rao. What do? I am an employee in a certain government organization. What do I do in the evening? I give discourses. How much is my salary? This much. How much money do I have? This much. How many children do I have? This many. None of this remains. The moment the mind stops, everything else stops. Once it stops, there are no more relationships, no more excitements, no more anxieties, nothing at all. Just absolute, supreme bliss. But it is not yet known through experience. In deep sleep, only the soul remains. That is why someone who slept soundly says, oh, I slept so well. It was such a relief. They say, I slept so deeply. It was so peaceful. They do not even know if mosquitoes bit them or cockroaches crawled on them. It is the same state when one stands firm as the soul through practice. It is very difficult to go there. It is very difficult to go to that tomb. So now, the nature of the mind is that it just clings to taste and smell, taste and smell, taste and smell, taste and smell. Do you know the funny thing it does while it is clinging like this, sir? It gets deeply stuck on certain things, sir. And do you know what it primarily gets stuck on? One is the wife. Oh, what will happen to this poor woman? I am leaving. What will happen to her? What will happen to her? What will happen to her? Remembering her weaknesses. She speaks exactly what is on her mind. She cannot hide it when she gets angry. What will happen to her suddenly tomorrow morning among 10 people? Or suddenly with the children? He worries about what her life will be like if she cannot get the right kind of support and care. He worries, and as he is leaving, while thinking that same thought, even at the moment of death, the mind follows the same process as it does during sleep. It starts to withdraw everything. It pulls the energy from the eyes. It pulls the energy from the ears. It pulls the sense of taste from the mouth. After pulling everything, it looks for a way to leave. And as the breath stops, it wonders where it should go, and then Ishvara makes the final decision. With what kind of thought is it leaving? With what kind of scent is it leaving? If that scent is about Ishvara, it leaves in one way. If that scent is about worldly things, it leaves in another way. While leaving, it does not have to go through the 9 openings. There are pores all over. Blood does not come out of them, only sweat comes out. If the water inside is coming out from the root of every single hair, then that is an opening too. But the greatness of Ishvara's design process is that blood does not come out of them. It can even leave through the pores of the skin. As soon as the last breath stops, there is no chance for it to move anymore. So it goes out